I'm going to talk about three fragrances that were sent to me. Yes, sent to me by Ross, not to be confused with the other Ross. This is Ross Barrett of Barrett Fragrances. And he reached out to me and said he had a few fragrances that he was going to send me for review. And he did so. So thank you very much, Ross Barrett, for that. The three fragrances that I'm going to mention in this video are Big Blue Parfum, Divine Intervention Parfum, and Roman King Parfum. Now, these three fragrances and this company itself is an inspirational house. These three fragrances are inspired by Big Blue is inspired by Bleu de Chanel. Parfum, of course. Roman King is Parfums de Marly's Harriet. Now, I did not look these fragrances up when he sent them to me, but when I first smelled them, I instantly can pick up on at least the Roman King and Divine Intervention, which is Killian's Angel Share. Those two were very familiar to me. And I honestly didn't even know that these were inspired by fragrances. Big Blue, like I said, was a Bleu de Chanel inspired by fragrance. And I could pick up on nuances of Bleu de Chanel, but this is not a direct clone of it. This is definitely inspired by it. So to get right into it, let's start with Big Blue. All right, so we're looking at the note breakdown of Big Blue Parfum by Barrett Fragrances. And the top notes are citrus, which is bergamot and lemon, aromatic notes such as rosemary and mint. Heart notes are woody notes such as sandalwood and cedarwood. More aromatic notes, lavender and geranium. There's jasmine. Base notes, you get tonka bean, vanilla, patchouli, incense, and amberwood. Now, I can go on and read the description of what they have listed here on the website as far as, their full breakdown and description of the notes and stuff like that. But I'm not going to go into all of that because if you've smelled Bleu de Chanel Parfum, then you already know what you're getting. And as I've stated in the opening of this video, this is not a one-to-one, but this is very, very close. And I wish that Barrett Fragrances would have been out when I first started my journey, because I was in search of a Bleu de Chanel alternative, and this would have been the perfect fragrance for me to substitute for the original Bleu de Chanel. Now, I did own the EDT, I own the Eau de Parfum and the Parfum, and I've sold them all for an obvious reason, but I am so glad that Ross Barrett reached out to me and got me these fragrances because it replaced all the ones that I did sell. So this is my absolute favorite of the three so far. My girlfriend smelled it when I first got it, and she absolutely loved it also. I did not know that this was at the time, a Bleu de Chanel inspired by fragrance, but I am so glad that it is. So I highly recommend this one. Next up, we're going to be talking about Roman King, which is an inspired by fragrance of Parfums de Marly's Harriet. Now, this one has top notes of cinnamon, pepperwood, and osmanthus. Heart notes of tobacco leaves, frankincense, and cyst. Base notes of vanilla pods, woods, vetiver, patchouli, and musk. This fragrance, in my opinion, is 90 to 95% accurate, if you're asking me. Now, I've owned a decant of Harriet. I did not own a full bottle of Harriet, and I've only believe I've worn it once. And it's one that you would really want to wear in the fall and winter. But I mean, you're your own person, so you can wear whatever fragrance you want to wear when you want to wear it. Layer it with whatever you want to layer it with. Just me personally, I'd only wear this in fall and winter, and it is very, very good. And I'm also definitely glad to have this one. I can go ahead and possibly use up the rest of that decant that I was trying to hold on to, and now that I have this, I won't have to worry about it. So once again, big shout out to Ross Barrett over at Barrett Fragrances for this beauty also. Now, last but not least of this trio, I have Divine Intervention, which is inspired by Killian's Angel Share. And this one has notes of cognac, cinnamon, and tonka bean, heart notes of oak wood, prune, and vanilla, and base notes sandalwood, patchouli, and vetiver. And this one also, from what I've gathered, because I've never owned Angel Shares, the original. I do have another clone of it. And it smells very similar to that one. Now, I've never smelled Angel Shares, at least I don't believe, and if I have, it's fade. But this one is definitely closer to the clone that I have. And so if it's anything like the original, then this is definitely worth the purchase. Another one that I recommend only really wearing in spring, in fall and winter, maybe spring when it's still cool out. Roman King and Divine Intervention are both more on the mature side. I'm not going to say whether it's masculine or feminine, because these days people are big on not seeing gender in fragrance. And even though I still see gender in fragrance personally, I still feel like these can be worn by both male and female. So go figure. Let's talk price. Now, this is the point in the video where I may lose some people, because there have been people for a while now, since I've been in Fragcom, who always gives the eye roll when people speak price, especially when it comes to clone houses or indie houses, independents, I mean. And the price of a 50 ml bottle from Barrett Fragrances, it says on the website $64.99 for a 50 ml bottle, and then you add tax to that. And I actually went in and I picked the fragrance, I put it in the cart, and I added the tax to it, which came out to $70.71. So that is what you're going to pay for a 50 ml bottle of any one of these parfum fragrances from Barrett Fragrances. You do get 30% off on the website if you enter your email. And I'm not the best when it comes to percentages, so whatever that takes off, you take that off the total price, and that's what you get. But I do recommend, at the least, if possible, trying to sample some of these fragrances if you are somebody who doesn't want to spend a whole ton of money on designer or niche fragrances, and you just want to smell good, or get something that's similar to something you may have always wanted, something maybe by Parfums de Marly or Bleu de Chanel or whatever, what have you. these definitely would suffice. Um, like I said, the argument then becomes price point. You're spending $70 for a 50 ml bottle. It's going to be pushback on that. I get it. But there are people out there who would be interested, and I do recommend at least trying out these fragrances. So, like I said before, once again, thank you, Ross Barrett, for sending these out for review. I greatly appreciate it, and much success for your company and what you do. I salute you, and I'm out of here, guys. That's all I have. So here is to smelling great.